Hi Guideposts, I'm Carol Kuykendall.
And I'm Lynn Kuykendall.
And here we are in our home in Boulder, Colorado. On my 60th birthday, I told everybody I saw that Lynn and I were beginning the best decade of our lives. And our children were grown and married to people we loved, and giving us grandchildren, which was such a gift. And 3 months later, Lynn was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor. And 6 weeks after that, I was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer and given 2 years to live. So suddenly this decade that we were so looking forward to looked totally different to us. It was a time in our lives we could barely pray. And that's when we were so thankful for friends who prayed for us and with us. But then we decided that what we had to do was really summed up by a sign that my daughter brought into the house one morning a couple of months after we were diagnosed. And she plunked it down on the kitchen counter, and the sign said, "Believe," B-E-L-I-E-V-E, believe. And for the very first time, I looked at that word that was so familiar to me, and I saw the word lie right in the middle of it. And I realized we had a choice on this journey to believe the lies that were threatening us, like God isn't really hearing our prayers, and do you really believe heaven is real? But the word believe is God's message to us to believe His promises. And the promises of God overcome all of the lies that are hidden in our daily messages. And that's what we did. We decided to be intentional about believing God's promises instead of the lies that were threatening us. Going through this together was a very sort of intimate journey. We were caretaking and living with cancer. And it was a way that we really drew closer to each other, but also drew closer to God, because when you're so dependent because of your brokenness, that's when you're closest to the Lord. When we celebrated my first year anniversary of getting off chemo, our children had a chemo-over party for us. And it was a wonderful family dinner, but they also gave us a puppy, because on my bucket list was that I wanted one more golden retriever in my life. And so they gave us a golden retriever puppy, and I named him Chemo in honor of the year that I'd survived of chemotherapy. And chemo means kimosabi, it means faithful friend. I used to tell people, and I had to believe myself, that when I was going through chemotherapy, that chemo is your friend. Chemo's on the team to help you battle cancer. And so many people really push back on their chemo treatments. And so I always used to tell myself, chemo is your friend. And so when we got this puppy dog, I decided chemo would be my friend. I feel like he's been a companion who's always there and is faithful, and he's an important part of our life. There was a point in our cancer journey that we began to see ourselves as survivors instead of victims, and a little less concerned about dying and thinking more about living. I think of ourselves as being on a divine detour. We'll die someday. We haven't gotten a pass on that. But we've got this season of life that we didn't expect for a few years, and we want to use it by doing what matters most. And so we're thinking about what does matter most, and obviously it's relationships. That's what matters when you're thinking maybe if you don't have a lot of time left, you want to spend it with the people that mean the most.